It's the final stages of the micro home build. It's called the finishing. Guys, I know I left you with a cliffhanger the other day. I couldn't help it. It was nighttime and it wasn't done. The color of the door. Drum roll. It is stunning. Yes, it is stunning. The color is thermal spring. Hang with me here a minute. Don't fast forward. I'm going to show you at the beginning the door, but then after that, we're going to talk finishing. I did have someone recently, I think I shared in the last video, you know, what all does that entail? What does finishing entail? What does that mean? And on top of that, I've gone a little overboard, I will admit. I got 10 different quotes. Now they recommend, I recommend 3 quotes. 3 quotes is a good place to be for lots of different reasons. I continued to get quotes, along with being obsessed, to get the best deal. So, you might ask, what was my criteria to pull the trigger on one of these quotes and move forward? And did I decide on multiple workers to finish out the micro home, or did I decide on one person, one crew? I hope you'll join me. It's adorable. Check it out, check it out. I think I have just about decided on a name for this cottage cabin. And I'm not going to reveal it just yet. Maybe I will reveal it once the interior is done. But I just really love it, guys. What do you think? What do you think? I hope you enjoyed the last video where I showed you them painting. They did spray paint on the exterior. I think they're coming back to do another coat, if they didn't already. It's raining a little bit. But I couldn't wait to show you the door. Yeah, he had some trouble with his spray gun. So, oh my gosh, I was here all day meeting up with the electrician. I met a new neighbor who came by. She's awesome. At least so far, she's awesome. And there you have it. Yep. Now I'm here to meet with a gentleman that I met probably over a month ago who gave me a quote. And I think we're going to seal the deal here. So let's go over to the picnic table and have a little chit chat. Hey, Serene and Simple Life peeps, tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. Do you like it? You're not going to hurt my feelings if you don't like it. It's okay. But of course, you could keep the comment to yourself if it's negative. No, I'm curious. I really like it. It's rustic and cottage. Beachy and rustic. I think the finisher's here. So we'll meet with him and then we'll get back to the picnic table and do a little chit chat. Okay, hope you'll join me. Guys, you like the door? I think it really adds a lovely, open, come visit feeling. And we've got the rustic cabin in the woods and we've got the cottage feel all in one. I'm really excited. Really excited. Waterfall is the lap siding, thermal spring is the door, and driftwood is the railings. All right, on to the topic of the day, which is the finisher. And yes, you heard that right, 10 different quotes. Can you believe it? Why would I get 10 quotes? And actually, I spoke to 14 different finishers. I have notes when I look down. Okay, so what all does finishing entail for my micro home? Well, I put it into like six different areas, and in the order of how they're going to finish the home. Ceiling, walls, floor, the trim. Number 5 is countertop and cabinets all in one. And then 6 is the doors. I do believe they're going to set the doors though before they do the walls. But all of that, what kind of materials, what kind of doors, all of that I will be showing you in future videos. Now, I'm not sure if these are going to run till the end of December, and then we're going to, which I am now doing videos on Wednesdays and Sundays, and it's working out pretty good. Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern time, and then I do Sundays at noon. And I'm telling you, the last video I got talking about, or the last show I did talking about being alone, like that was like got a lot of hits. It seems like when you put drama and negative in there, like, but that wasn't my intentions. I am alone. And it's not a negative. And little bunny trail, but I did end up not taking those people up on bringing me a plate. The timing wasn't good, and I didn't know the people, so it was like, okay, well, I come out to my property at 11 in the morning and I'm ready to go to the rest area, and I'm going to call them and tell them I'm ready for my plate. Well, the plate might not have been ready till 3 or 4, and they did not invite me to their house. I mentioned that I liked that. I liked that they didn't invite me and put me in that place. They were just going to bring me a plate. So didn't happen. Went to the rest area, had myself a really nice, relaxing time. And Christmas is probably going to be the same. I'm working right up till Christmas right now. But then I'm going to Arizona, and I may resume these finishing videos when I come back in February, because I'm going to do real-time videos while I'm in Arizona, and I'm not going to push those back. So there might be a little bit of a delay between the finishing that I'm showing you now and when I show you in February, when I'm totally moved in and I'm going to do an open house. That won't happen. As it stands now, we're looking at really pushing it to be in by the end of the year. So I don't even know if I'll be here for the last inspections or not. But anyways, back to finishing. So that's what all finishing entails. And I have a criteria here, my criteria, that I use to select who would do the job or who would get the job. And it was a lot of prayer and a lot of thought and a lot of note-taking. First of all, the number one consideration was price. You know, I got people that quoted me double what other people quoted me. Are you serious? Like, how does that come into play? And someone who gave me a really good quote said, well, that just is greed. That's just the bottom line. It's just greed. So if you get a quote from somebody for, you know, $5,000 and someone else gives you a quote for $10,000, like, hello, why are you giving me a quote for $10,000 when someone else can do this for $5,000? And I'm not saying those are my numbers. A cost sheet and a general idea of what I spent, that'll come in some February videos. I'm going to do some really cool wrap-up videos in February, like the steps to doing this and cost. And I'm telling you guys, please subscribe and click the bell so that you get these updates, and please give these a thumbs up, because that's how the algorithm is going to be able to give other people the opportunity to see what you are experiencing and what you're enjoying and what you're learning. If you don't do that, then, I mean, I only have like 30 or 40% of all the people that watch these videos are subscribed. To me, that doesn't make any sense. It's free to subscribe, you know, and to click the bell for updates. And that's what moves the algorithm. Thank you, guys. Thank you. And if you want to know the backstory, you've got to go and check out my book on Amazon. On Amazon, Rut to Revival, a Gypsy Soul Nomad Journey. This will give you the backstory leading up to leasing land, which is what I did last year, and now owning land. So I can't say that that's going to be a book in the future, but I may take you up on doing a little handbook on a guide to building a tiny home or building a micro home. Put in the comments, would you buy a book like that? Because it's a lot of work. Anyways, that was another bunny trail. So first of all, the consideration of the price. Number two is, okay, close to the price. As far as importance for me, for criteria, were they professionals or were they like novices? Now let me explain. Someone told me that I needed a handyman to do this type of work. I didn't need to hire a residential contractor, meaning someone who would come in and then they would sub out the work. Very expensive. I needed a handyman. These are handyman type jobs. These are husband and wife, or two women that are really fit and know what they're doing, you know, to hold boards. And, you know, you need kind of maybe two people for 10-foot ceilings. You need them, you know, you need the ladders and scaffolding and all those kinds of things and all the tools. But you don't need a residential contractor. But I also, handyman is really a broad word to me. Professional handyman versus neighbor handyman who just wants to be a good guy and help you out. I needed more towards the professional. A couple times I asked for referrals. I didn't get referrals, so I used my gut and my intuition. A couple people sent me pictures, but I usually went to Facebook, or if they had a website, to check out what they had done, and nothing really lined up with what I'm doing. So I did consider like farming all the different pieces of the finishing out, like getting someone to do the flooring, someone to just do the ceiling, someone to just come in and do the kitchen. More on that in a few minutes, or in a couple minutes. All right. Number three, reliable. And along with that, communicator, ask me questions, you know, talk through everything. Are you going to do this? Have you considered this? Just giving me good information that I could say, hey, these guys really know what they're doing. And a couple people, they're really generous too sometimes, and they'll say, make sure whoever you hire does blank. And I was like, wow, thank you. And I'd go and I'd get my little steno book out and I'd write that down. I mean, I even read my notes to a couple people. Like, I talked to someone who told me about the insulation, and they said, make sure that, you know, you've got the soffits where, you know, the airflow, and I mean, stuff that really was coming out kind of messy, you know, because I didn't really know what I was talking about, but I had taken these quick notes after the person left to write down, okay, make sure this, make sure that, or if we were on the phone. So probably I'm adding one. Communicator would be number three. And then, you know, number four is the attention to detail and the free advice, which is what I just covered. The attention to detail. reliability, that's just the gut feeling. You know, it's just like, are these people going to be reliable? You just pay attention to your gut as you're talking to people, is all I can say. All right, number 5 is personality. Are we clicking and can we work together? Now, knowing me, I ask a lot of questions. I think I shared with you in another that Russell, who was one of the builders, told one of the finishers that came by that I was interviewing or, you know, getting a quote from, he said, she asks a lot of questions, but she's a sweetheart. I really appreciated hearing that, you know, truth and truth, right? So, you know, am I going to annoy these people with their questions? I mean, a couple of us sat at the picnic table here, and I would ask questions, and you know, and I never got anybody really with an attitude. So that was really cool. All right. And number 6, which I've already talked about, is that overall gut feeling that their quote was going to be firm and no surprises. So that's the second part of it. Am I going to get a surprise? You know, is like this job going to be, I'm using the word, you know, I'm using, say, 9,000. And when it's all said and done, is it going to be 10,000? And you have to pay attention to your gut. So I ruled out a couple people right from the beginning. I think the finishers are coming now. I may have to stop this and redo. You know, a couple people, let's see. 5, the price was way out of my league. 3 never got back to me. I got these 2 papers here. One was initially like 4 quotes, and then one was 5. Can you see that? I made columns. Well, I put the names of the companies at the top, which I folded down now, and then along the side I put ceiling, walls, counter, baseboards, the window trim, the door trim, you know, the various aspects, everything that, and the insulation, everything that I had told you about, and put their prices, because I asked every person who gave me a quote to give me a breakdown. So I was like, well, I could piece this all together. Well, when I figured it all out and I circled the different ones with the best quotes, I mean, some were like these people were really good on the ceiling, but they were really high on the walls. But then they were a little lower on the trim. And they put their whole trim package together with the doors and the baseboards and everything, where others broke it down. So I wasn't quite, that's where you have to ask questions, you know, what all does this consist of? When all was said and done and I crunched the numbers, I found out that going with one crew, or I mean a couple of them, like Brennan, he was going to be working by himself. He said if he needed somebody to help him, he had a couple military buddies. So and again, the older gentleman, Marion, he said I could help him and save money. So mostly a one-man job, of course, goes much faster and much smoother if you have 2 or 3, is what I'm thinking. But I might have been able to save 1,000, but at the same time, having all those different people come in instead of somebody who is invested in the whole job and wants to get it done. In other words, like if the ceiling was done, then I would be like, okay, well, I'm hiring the guys for the walls to come in. Like say if I gave them 2 days for the ceiling, and then the walls is going to be 3 days, but we don't know for sure if it's going to just be 2 days, then there was going to be gaps probably in the different hires that I was going to do. And it just was going to probably take longer and end up being near the same amount. Now, is $1,000 a lot of money for me right now? Yeah, like $50 extra is a lot of money to me right now. But, you know, I said to anybody who was going to do this job, this is a great marketing opportunity for them. It's an all-in-one, you know, I mean, wow. You know, for them, the future, look what we did for this lady for this entire micro tiny home, you know, pretty cool. So I feel good about it. And also I still don't quite understand, you know, like the walls, you know, someone gave me 4,000 and another was 2,000. Like why $2,000 difference, even though your quotes, you know, come out pretty much the same. And I guess it's they work in how many hours. You know, some are working for $45 an hour, some are working for $50, some are working for $100 an hour. Greed. I guess that's the only thing I can figure. And also Tony said to me that they work in the quotes, you know, things that might be extra. Like they found out that I have a cathedral ceiling. Well, when Tony first came by, it was a flat ceiling. It wasn't a cathedral. But he didn't come back and say, Linda, that's going to be another $600. And that was a big deal to me, to not come back and keep adding as you find out other things. That was really one of the things that really made me, and of course, I hadn't talked to them in a month and I called them back, you know, and they were surprised to hear from me. And I was like, is your quote still going to be this? I've now got, you know, I've got the 10-foot ceilings, and I sent them a picture of like how the gable is flat on top and then the sides, and they didn't add to it. And I said, you know, you were high on the walls, but you were good on the ceiling. And Tony said to me, well, it's all going to work out now. So they work in their little, you know, if you put in the comments if you know anything about quotes, why they vary so much in price, even when the bottom line comes out to be near the same. That's where I wanted to piecemeal it together, but it just didn't make sense. And let me see if there's anything else. Yep. You know, the dependability of these people, was it worth it? The timing to put it all together. So here we are. And I also got quotes that said that it would take 2.5 weeks, and I got all the way up to, like, Marion by himself, he said a solid probably 160 hours, or yeah, of work. That would be 40 hours a week times 4 weeks. And these guys said they don't mind working 10-hour days. So that it's just all those things that you have to put together, and you have to be listening and paying attention and making your notes as you go. All right, so this is getting way too long now. As per usual, the babbling brook is going to be signing off. Put in the comments, what did you learn about finishers? And, you know, do you have any questions for me up till now? I can do a question and answer at the end. I think that would be very cool. So I think now, instead of answering your questions as we go, put in the comments what kind of questions do you have for me. And if they're not answered in upcoming videos, then I'll do a question and answer when this is all said and done. All right, guys, that's it for today. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. I do have to work in a little while, and all is good. Stay tuned for the insulation, and then stay tuned as we go through the steps of the finishing process. Blessings in your day, joy in all your projects, and joy in the journey. Love you.